Folks, we're back. Off of spring break, the Shamrock Sportscast is back for another episode, a very exciting episode, as we haven't really had the chance to sort of run through each of the spring sports, and today is going to be that day. We're going to go through each of the sports. We are going to talk about how everything's gone down so far this season, and just have some excitement with that. But before we get started, boys, you just kind of want to talk, like, how was your week off? How was spring break?
It was really good. Family and I took a trip down to Orange Beach, Alabama. That's always a good time. It's so secluded. I know there have been a couple of people that went to Gulf Shores and such, and even I saw members of the baseball team, Owen Swinford and Matt Droslik, down there in a Publix, but it was a really good time, just really relaxing. We didn't really do much of anything, just enjoyed the week off from everything from, photography and videography and the work and the hustle. And it was really nice, and we needed that to kind of prepare us for the last month and a half that we have.
Yeah, I just stayed home. Didn't go anywhere.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Went out to dinner with a couple of friends some nights, downtown Carmel.
W spot.
Yeah,
Yes.
ran that up a whole lot.
Which spots did you go eat?
So I think we grabbed some Rita's and then
Rita's is nice.
went down to the bocce ball, little bocce ball field they have. Played some bocce ball for a couple hours, for a couple nights. I got a lot better at bocce ball this spring break, I guess we'll say that. But yeah, it was really chill. I kind of liked staying home. It was just relaxing, and yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's the whole setup down there is hard to beat, and it's exciting to think about how Westfield can sort of, take after Carmel's example with downtown with the new renovation and how everything's going to go. Which we're not a politics podcast here at Westfield, but we could very easily dive into the mayoral debate. We're not going to do that, but yeah, mine was good. I went to Cancun with some of my friends, and we
there was like 30 people there.
Yeah, there was I think 21 of us.
Holy crap.
So it was a fun week. We it was a pretty quick trip, but definitely a much needed break after sort of a longer second and third end of second, start of third try. But definitely good, but ready to get back to it.
What was your favorite part about that trip?
Was there anything that was like eye-opening?
Was that your first time in Cancun?
Second time in Cancun. It's a great city, obviously. We didn't leave the resort. My favorite part was on the second to last day, Sam Bishop, Jameson Lutz, Luke Gear, and I, we signed up for this hydrotherapy, and it was insane. It went sauna, steam room, and then there was a variety of different massages that you got like in the pools, and man, it was
Sounds very relaxing.
it was euphoric, if I had to put a word on it. I think it was probably like very life changing. So
wow,
that was very fun.
Was it a 10 out of 10 experience?
Maybe higher.
Wow.
We're looking at the 11 out of 10 range.
Yeah, but it was fun. But glad to be back. Glad to get ready for some spring sports here.
Yeah.
Evan, so obviously you have very strong connections with the baseball team.
Yes.
So why don't we start with them?
All right, so they are 2-2 after the break. They have one game tonight versus Cathedral, 4-1 Cathedral versus 2-2 Westfield. I'll preview that game a little bit more. I don't know when this is being posted, whenever Alan feels up to editing it, I guess, but we may or may not be able to tell you some reliable things going into this game. North Central was our first game of the year on the 27th of March. We won that 15-12. And straight off the bat, the runs were good. 8 in the second inning, which is really what you need out of a team with the pitching staff that we have. I don't want to say our pitching staff is unreliable, and I don't really think that's the right word for it, but we don't have as many prominent starters as we did last year. And so we're kind of just using arms as we need them, which is weird considering the fact that Last year we had 3 confirmed starters, maybe 4, and we just took out of the pen the same guys. But then this year, Culp, certified starter. I think you could throw Seth Nana and Preston Tam into that too. But other than that, like there's really not a whole lot of guys that could fit that starting role. So we just tell the guys, go as far as you can and then see what will happen from there. And that's kind of what happened in this North Central game. We had a 12-6 lead after the 3rd inning, and then we scored 3 in the 4th. So that was all of our 15 runs in the first 4 innings. The last 3, we let up 4, and so that was a little bit of a scare. But we won it 15-12 in 7 innings, even though that probably could have been ended in 5. And then the Franklin Central series happened. The Wednesday and Thursday before break. Lost the first game in 11 innings, 3-2. That was just a pitcher's duel. We had Culp start, and then Owen Swinford came in for 4 pitches just to get out of an inning. And then we had Braden Hibbler for a little bit, who was our shortstop. And then we had Matt Drozlik try and finish the game, or we had Ian and then Matt, Ian Wilson, then Matt Drozlik. So we used, what was that, 5-6 arms in that game. One that could have been over in the 7th inning, went to 11 innings, and yeah, we had a 2-0 lead after the first inning, did not score at all the rest of the game, and we allowed the final 3 runs in the 6th, 7th, and extra innings. So it was just a little disappointing in that nature, but we bounced back the following day with an 8-6 win, again in extras, and for the 3rd time this year, we allowed multiple runs after the 5th inning. We were up 4-1 in the 3rd, then they scored in the 5th, made it 4-2, and then we scored in the 6th to make it 5-2, and then they scored 3 runs in the bottom part of that inning, and we tied it up. No runs in the 7th. A pair of ones for either team in the 8th, and then we finally scored 2 runs in the 9th and won that game 8-6. In this second game, I want to give a big shout out to Ty Anderson. Started on the mound, gave up, I think it was 2 total runs, had 4 strikeouts, pitched 5 1/3 innings, and batted in 3 runs as well. He went 2 for 5 at the plate with some very crucial base running at the very end of the game in the 9th. So that was a great showing by Ty. He's going to be a fixture for the team this year and next year. And then over break, they went down to Tennessee. They were supposed to play 3 games, only played 1 because of weather. And now one game that they played was an 11-8 loss to Good Pasture Christian. Let's see here. The Good Pasture Christian obviously is one of the better teams in Tennessee. They started off with 8 runs in the first 2 innings. We tried to make a little comeback. They were up 9-0 in the 4th. We scored 3 in the 5th and then 4 in the 6th and even 1 in the 7th. It just was not enough, and we lost by 3 to them. And so now that leads us to this week. We're 2-2. We play Cathedral tonight, and then Thursday and Friday is the Brownsburg series. So we got 3 consecutive games. I believe tonight Seth Nana is starting, from what I've been told, and then just assuming by the pattern of events, Jacob Culp will start tomorrow night, and then Ty Anderson will start on Friday. But that's subject to change at this point. Tonight's game versus Cathedral is going to be really interesting. So obviously, record-wise, it does not come into our favor. And even stat-wise, it does not come into our favor. We're averaging around 8 runs a game, a little bit over. They're averaging 10. We do, on average, hit better than them. Our batting average, team-wise, and our total hits per game is better. Our on-base percentages are pretty similar. Slugging percentages pretty similar. Fielding percentages, we experienced a little bit of a dip from them in the win-loss percentage. They're obviously at 800 right now, and we're at 500. So, I mean, if you just look at the stats, Cathedral edges us out just by a little bit, but that does not mean that this game is a complete write-off for them. We are a very talented team, and we can do some damage in this game and for the entirety of the season.
I will say this. Last year, we lost multiple D1 players. I think a couple maybe D2 players. and a pro. With how this team has stepped up this year, they're winning the games they're supposed to win. They're losing the games they're supposed to lose, except for the Franklin Central game. You can make a case for that. Tonight against Cathedral will be a real test, but I think so far, I think they're exceeding expectations. So it'll be excited to see not only how they do against Cathedral tonight, but also against Brownsburg Thursday and Friday, to see how they match up against conference opponents, because Franklin Central, you could make a case that they probably should have swept that. So it'll be fun to see what they'll be able to do in their second conference matchup against Brownsburg.
These next couple weeks for Westfield are crucial. Leading up until the next 2 full weeks, essentially leading up to prom night, we have Cathedral, who is one of the better teams in the state. I believe they are 10th in the state, something like that. I'm trying to remember. Carmel next Monday, 2nd in the state. Fisher Series next Thursday and Friday. They are 8th in the state. Newcastle next Saturday, which it'll be a good game. It's an away game. And then Monday, home versus Center Grove, the best team in the state. And then the 2 days before prom, the Thursday and Friday, the 27th and the 28th, the Noblesville series. Noblesville, obviously one of our most hated rivals. It's always an interesting game. The tensions are boiling, and Noblesville is one of the best teams in the state. They're 6-1 right now.
Yeah.
So you look at these next couple weeks, and it's a true test of endurance, not just for the players, but for the coaching staff. We have to be consistent. We have to play some of our best ball. And even after this, HSE series early on in May, they're a good team. Even before that, Zionsville series, that's obviously a very tough team to play. There's not a whole lot of easy games on this schedule for Westfield, and so they gotta, if they want to make a strong run in sectionals, we got to prove that we can, hang with the big dogs. And right now, we haven't had a whole lot of comforting wins. The North Central win and Franklin Central wins are good, but they weren't by a whole lot. They were a combined 5-run wins. So if we want to start making ourselves, sectional contenders like we were last year, we gotta start winning games like we did last year. We gotta, blow teams out. We gotta run rule them. We gotta show no mercy. And we can do that. We just have to be a little bit more disciplined, and we're set.
Couple names to watch here. One is the sophomore Caden Lindsay.
Yes.
We obviously know what his brother can do, because he's been such a stalwart for this program over the past few years. But Caden has come in and, kind of in some big moments, he's been able to hit the ball really well. Obviously, right now he's batting .429, which is very solid. He's only had 7 plate appearances, but you would expect that to go up, as, like I said, he is just a sophomore, and you build comfortability with more of those reps. Another name is Andrew Nicholson. He has been in the bullpen for this team, but he's come in. He's had, 3 appearances so far in 4 games, and his ERA is just 1.31. Not giving up a lot of hits, not giving up a lot of runs, and he seems like a guy who's going to be reliable pretty much whenever they need someone to come in out of the bullpen. It's just a matter of, can they figure out the people in the bullpen beyond Andrew?
Yes.
If they can do that, then this pitching rotation and staff is going to be a lot better off.
Exactly. And one of the things I noticed about this team is they will even throw starters out of the bullpen. The reason why I said Seth Nana is kind of a certified starter is because he can start, but he also comes in relief. That second game versus Franklin Central, he pitched the last 2 innings. Shutout innings, only allowed 1 hit, and had 3 or so Ks. So, again, it's really arms whenever we need them. If you're ready, we will use you. And I want to touch base with Nicholson on that. He's gotten a lot better from last year. Last year, he was in kind of a stacked pitching rotation, so we didn't really know where he'd fall. He's not a velo guy. He's more of an accuracy and off-speed guy, but it is deadly. His curveball, if you come to a game and watch it, it's like a foot of vertical movement. It is insane. Really, we have a lot of underdogs and we have a lot of sleeper guys filling up the slots in the lineup, and we're just good. We're there. We have the sort of underground talent. We just gotta execute now at this point,
which I think is a very good possibility as they get into some of these tougher games. Once you get experience under the belt of some of these younger guys in the tougher games, then come later in the season, they're going to be very solid.
I agree, because we have a very stacked schedule the very first couple weeks of the season. If we can, get better, obviously these better teams are going to give us better improvements. By the time we face those mid-level teams, which honestly there are not many this year because of how stacked the competition is in Indiana baseball this year, but the tougher opponents we play earlier in the season, the easier the later the season will get.
Quickly, I want to just touch on softball, just real quick. Let me see here. We are 4-1 to start the season. Blew out Decatur Central. I think we've already talked about that just a little bit, and I think we already talked about the Carmel game as well. 20-5, 13-8 wins, 10-6 against Franklin Central, a good conference win. Suffered our first loss before break. Pendleton Heights away at Pendleton Heights. That was an 11-6 loss. But last night really impressed me. I was there at the game. I was, doing my little photography, videography thing. We won 10-0 run rule after the 6th inning. It was an Ava Cainrith 3-run bomb that ended it. So shout out to her. I'm still holding your ball hostage. Anyways, let's look at these stats here.
4 guys or 4 girls batting 500 or more.
Yes, that is
pretty good.
Actually insane. Like, what people forget to realize is that our softball team, even though we did lose a lot of firepower last year, we are very good this year, and we are just as good, if not better, than we are last year. And you can see that in the run differential. We've scored 59 runs. We've allowed 30. So almost a 2-to-1 ratio with runs scored and runs allowed. Last night, even though we didn't get a whole lot of hits, I don't know how many we got as a team. We had 6 total hits as a team last night, and then we won 10-0. That's because our plate discipline is so good. We draw walks like the plague, and we get on base, and that's first step to scoring is, you got to get on base to score unless you're Ava Cainrith and you just hit bombs. That was, I believe, her 4th or 5th home run of the year, which is absolutely nuts. So great win by the Lady Rock softball team. They have a game tonight versus Greenfield Central.
What do we think about that one? Do you think Westfield's going to take it?
I do think we will take this one. Greenfield Central, although they are 4-2, I don't believe they are 4A. So
yeah, I saw. So Westfield's ranked, I think, 26 in the state. Greenfield Central is, I think, 72nd.
Yes, 72nd. They're
yeah,
just behind Logansport, Jeffersonville.
So it'll be. It's not like we won't try.
Yeah,
it's still going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think we should take this one comfortably.
Can we talk about Chloe Tanner?
I was about to say our ace Chloe Tanner last night. She did so well. 26
innings pitched through 5 games. ERA of 3.23. And this girl is a Shohei Ohtani type.
Yes.
She's batting 278 as well. That's ridiculous. And
yeah.
I don't watch much softball, so I could be wrong here, but the fact that she has 26 innings pitched and the next highest is 3.2 is pretty telling of how good she is.
Yes, she is 100% our ace. She's an everyday player, just kind of like you mentioned, Shohei Ohtani. Last night she went the full game, complete game shutout, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, and only 4 walks.
And softball only plays, what'd you say, 7 innings.
Same as baseball.
So 5 games, 26 innings pitched. I mean, that's just a touch over 3 or 4 total games.
And I do believe that they have had the run rule they only had the run rule in once. They only played 6 innings against Decatur Central, but every other game they should have played.
Wow.
So they've been in the run rule 2 times. The other 2 out of the 3 were wins. Just so much talent on that team. It is incredible.
And the future is very bright too. A lot of young athletes on that team.
Exactly.
We're not graduating much this year at all.
No, we're graduating Maggie Rowe, who is effective, and Allie Dolitz, who is also very, very good at the plate.
Yeah.
Boys, I hate to do this to you, but I have to leave for a dentist appointment.
Okay.
So
No worries.
I will be out. Everyone, stay breezy, go Rocks, and support your Westfield teams this week.
Evan, thank you for your time. We appreciate your wisdom with the baseball team and the softball team.
Yeah.
Make sure those whites are pearly, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Alrighty, let's move on here. Do you want to talk a little bit about golf?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I'll start us off here.
Yeah. I know you're a part of the golf team. Just run us through it.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about the varsity roster so far this year. First varsity match is today, 3:30 at Prairie View. Should be a fun one. It's, on some of these weekday matches, they allow us to play like 6 to 8 guys rather than just the top 5. So tonight we have, obviously, Alex Caesar, number 1, Jake Caesar, number 2, Will Harvey, 3, Cam Coy, 4, Matt Scholl, 5, and then Caden Menler, who's really emerged. Yeah, he's playing 6. We have Jack Harris, the sophomore, playing 7, and then Ryan Caesar, the third of the Caesar brothers, playing 8. After last week, he medaled in 2 of the JV matches.
Wow.
So, yeah, it should be fun. It's definitely a big week for this team. We got today, and then there's another varsity match tomorrow, varsity green match, and then on Saturday we're sending 3 teams up across 2 different tournaments, and
Wow.
one of them is up at Warsaw, and the boys have not lost there or not finished first there in, I want to say, 10 years now. So
Wow.
a lot of pressure to repeat, but
Yeah.
I think everyone's confident with that course, and it should be fun.
Yeah. I think they'll do it. Obviously tonight, hopefully they're going to be victorious, but I think they will. 3 of the Caesar brothers in one lineup, hard to beat. Obviously, the emerging star, Will Harvey. And then you also have, like, the veterans like Scholl and Caden Menler. So it's going to be a fun one. This is the first match of the season, right?
First varsity, yep.
Wow. So, yeah, it'll be fun to see what they'll do, because they'll probably ride, if they win, they'll probably ride that victory to another victory and then ride that victory to another victory. I think the golf team looks very successful this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype surrounding this program from within the program, but as well as, sort of as, more, I don't want to say nationally, but like state people have said that this team's going to be good. And, I think that it's going to be a very fun journey. And as long as we can continue to work as hard as we do every single year and every single off season, then we're going to be, we're going to be competing every single week, which is going to be fun. I think what's also fun about these weekday matches, especially one today, so we go head to head with HSC and Carmel. Those are 2 teams that we sort of know what to expect with them.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, we've played against their guys year in and year out. But it's always fun to sort of see where those other teams are at the start of the year, in the same way that we want to see where our team's at the start of the year.
Absolutely.
So, like, HSC should be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the state because, they have a kid named Cole Starnes, who is a junior, and he's an absolute stud. He's played in national USAM type tournaments throughout his lifetime.
Wow. Is he getting recruited at all? Probably, right?
He is. I couldn't tell you where off the top of my head, but obviously a very highly rated guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Why don't we carry that on into some boys volleyball?
Absolutely. I was already on that page.
Perfect.
7-2 to start off the year. Their 2 losses are HCC opponents, HSC, Fishers, both 3-1 losses. A lot of positives. They're on a 2-game win streak against North Central and Garin, who are 2 pretty good teams. And then they have Carmel tonight. 6-4 Carmel, at home. So they're renovating the main gym right now. So I don't know where that'll be held. I know last year, since it was a club sport last year, they had their games at the middle school. So I'm assuming that would probably be a top spot to play their games at. But 6-4 Carmel travels to 7-2 Westfield. Gosh, this roster is stacked.
Loaded.
Brody McAfee, Will Byers, Zach Geisinger. The depth is off the charts. The potential that this team has is off the charts. I would say the ceiling for this team, if they get hot, they might go to state. Although they don't have the best conference record, there are still many teams to turn that around with. And those are the two toughest teams in the conference. So I still think they can turn it around and make that a 6-2 conference record. So yeah, it'll be fun to see, because they still haven't hit their mid-season peak yet. Their mid-season fire. They're not hot yet, and the fact that they're 7-2, gosh, can't wait to see what this team does.
Yeah, and we kind of knew it growing up with a bunch of these guys. It was always like, man, if Westfield can find a way to start a men's volleyball team, then we're going to be pretty good. You know, with the likes of McAfee, like the likes of Fulp, Brent Stone, Will Byers, like those are all just athletic kids who have always been so good at this sport.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, bringing club volleyball last year allowed them to get a year of practice, if you will, before they got to this stage where, you know, they're competing at an IHSAA level. And
yeah,
like you said, the record speaks for itself, 7-2, and there's so much work left to do, because like this team does still have some younger guys too.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun to watch the rest of the season. Some of the other sports are just now starting to get going, so we're gonna wait a little bit to talk about them. But one of the most chaotic years of all time,
yes,
in our favorite sport, college basketball. Aiden, I want to hear sort of your thoughts on how everything played out in this year's tournament.
First off, I just want to say we need to stop underrating UConn. 3 national championships in the last decade. That is more than all the Blue Bloods. They are a special organization, and the fact that they have players returning, players recruited. I mean, I think they have a top 10 recruit, 5-star coming in. I forget his name, but UConn, what a season. Started out, 8-0, 9-0? They're the first seed.
15-0.
15-0.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that much.
Wait. Yeah, I think so.
Wow. They were the first seed, or I guess number 1 ranked team in the country for, I think, almost the first month of college basketball. And then Purdue kind of took that over. But started off hot, lost so many games straight in the middle of the season, won so many to get back up there, claimed their spot as a 4 seed when they were projected to be a 1 or 2 seed with how they started off the season. Come in, and they get hot at the right time, looking like how they were the first month of college basketball. I would say, though, their road to the championship wasn't difficult. And you could say that a lot of other teams got unlucky in their losses that would have had the ceiling to win the national championship. I'm not saying this was a fluke for UConn, but San Diego State in the national championship might be a given. But props to UConn. Such a fun year this year. So many upsets. Obviously, we have FDU, Princeton, and yeah, UConn. They're back.
They are, and it's rare to see such a dominant tournament run.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up right now, but what was the closest game? Like 12 points?
Iona, I believe.
So Iona was tied. They were tied at half, won by 24.
Yeah.
St. Mary's second round, won by 15. Arkansas in the Sweet 16, 23-point win. Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. Gonzaga
That was a fun game.
by 28. Beat Miami by 13. Ooh, that was tight. And San Diego State in the championship by 17. They didn't allow, like, the most points they allowed in the tournament was 65.
Like, that's ridiculous.
It's so
And
good.
the fact that their least, like, how do I say this? The fact that the game that they won by the least amount is 13. This is probably the most dominant run we've seen in the last decade from any team. We've seen last year Kansas, who won the national championship. They almost lost multiple games. Their Final Four game was kind of dominant. They almost lost the national championship to eighth seed UNC, but they remembered how to play basketball in the second half. Year before that, was that Baylor the year before that? Or yeah. 2021 coming off COVID, no crowd. I'm not saying it was a Mickey Mouse ring, but
Baylor was dominant.
they were.
They were dominant.
And they're another team that you could probably put up there with UConn in dominant runs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially winning over Gonzaga.
By more than almost 20 points.
Absolutely. Who I don't think they had Chet at the time. I think maybe Chet was the year after that because Chet was a one and done. Yeah. But yeah, this UConn team, I would consider them a blue blood now. We need to look back at the decade they've had.
Yeah. 5 championships in the last 25 years is pretty uncanny.
Yeah.
And like you said, 3 in the last 12. I mean, we're looking at like a championship every 4 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it though because they've been so mediocre in between. It's either really good or really bad.
Ever since little Kemba Walker, they haven't really had much talent.
Yeah.
And then you recruit Sonogo.
Yeah.
You recruit Jackson. You look at their recruits, they go for pure sneaky athleticism. And that's what got them to where they were now.
The reason to have hope that they can continue to have this success going forward is the fact that they have found their head coach.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, Kevin Ollie won them the national championship in 2014, but you never really felt like he was the definite answer. But we've seen success already for 3 years now with Danny Hurley, and
Yep.
you know, there's no reason to think that that's going to fall off. And this team and the rest of the Big East next year is going to be ridiculous.
Oh
It's
my
hard
gosh.
it's hard to picture.
Creighton, Villanova,
Marquette's
yeah.
probably the second best team in the country behind UConn. Two
Yeah.
teams in the Big East.
Yeah. Marquette, and their run ended, unfortunately. They couldn't hit anything that game. But would you consider, considering Big East, 2 top teams in the country are in the Big East, would you consider the Big East the basketball conference over the SEC? The Big Ten is probably close to them.
Big 12 too.
Big 12.
Big 12.
Kansas State, Texas, Oregon.
Hard to lose sight of the fact that the Big 12 had won the 2 previous national championships.
Yeah.
But we've seen the Big East success with Villanova. Now we've seen it with UConn. You know, let's just say there's a reason that the Big East only plays basketball. They don't play football at
yeah.
that high level.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would say that's what's so fun about having a Big East, Big 12 challenge every year that they do.
Yeah.
Is you get to see the top 2 conferences go head to head. And I'd say the history books would indicate that those are the top 2.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to pick one though.
Yeah. Gosh, next year's going to be fun for college basketball. I wish we could just fast forward to it.
It's going to be fun. And think about it. Ball State's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
With Micah Lewis and everything he's done up there.
Yeah.
Tennessee's going to be pretty good. I mean, we watch college basketball a lot here, but think about what watching college basketball is going to be like when you're in college.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be so fun. And while we're on it, I know we're losing some time here, but Sam, you and I are both IU fans, IU basketball fans, probably the majority of the listeners probably are. We lose Trace. We lose Tamar Bates. Wait, yeah, Tamar Bates. Yeah. We lose Jalen Hood-Schifino to the draft, but we bring in 5-star recruit Khalil Ware. We bring in 4-star recruit Gabe Cupps. What do we think the Hoosiers are doing next year?
That's a great question. You know, the fact of the matter is that Khalil Ware is sort of the perfect complement alongside Malik Renew.
Yeah.
Renew on offense, back to the basket, gonna pound you, hit tough shots in the paint.
Yeah.
Where he can step out and he can hit shots.
Threes,
He's also
yeah.
a face-up guy who's going to take more of the mid-range shot. So when you free the lane and give Renew the opportunity to cook in the paint, whereas last year when Renew was playing the 4, it was him and Trace in the paint.
Yeah.
Clogged so much stuff up.
Yeah.
So offensively, going to be awesome. Defensively, that's another story. Just because Ware is such a shot blocker and he's going to need to be down low
in the paint, yeah.
Whereas Renew, we've seen it in the past, he can't really guard the 4s.
The 4, yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to watch, but I think Renew has the ability to step up and average 18, 19 points a game next year, and I think this team should continue to contend in the conference, even if it's not at the same level we saw this year.
Yeah, and it'll be fun to see some of the guys who didn't get playing time last year step in and play a little role. We still don't know the verdict on if CJ Gunn is going to transfer, but as of right now, I think he'll stay. Don't really know. I think Gabe Cupps will probably get some playing time, maybe start, because that guard position, that backcourt is so weak for the Hoosiers right now, especially losing Hood-Schifino. But it's gonna be an interesting one. We still don't know if IU Purdue-wise, we still don't know what Zach Edey's going to do. He's taken a while to make that decision, but it's a decision that you're going to have to take some time to make, and everybody understands that. But if Zach Edey moves on to the league, we have a new 7-foot monster in town in Khalil Ware coming to Indiana.
Man.
All right.
It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Well, everyone, thank you all for listening. We hope that you have been revitalized with some of the spring sports and took some good information out of this. And
I feel like it's been a while since we've recorded one of these.
Yeah, absolutely. We took a week off before, but I think it was good to be back and good to continue to talk about it. So thank you all for listening. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll be back with you next week.
Peace.